So hi, thanks. I'm really happy to be here today. I guess probably everybody's happy to be here today because we get to go to work late. And I live in Berlin now, work at the agency Eopion, but I come from New York, which right now is very advantageous because New Yorkers speak really fast, and I have a lot to say and not too much time. So to get started, I'd like to kind of go to the, maybe talk about one of the great conundrums of modern human civilization. And that is advertising sucks. You know, we're watching Underworld on TV, and that really exciting scene comes where the vampires and the werewolves are about to battle each other, and then comes boom, 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 commercial break. Right, so we all basically hate advertising. Now that isn't the conundrum, that's just a fact of life. The conundrum is actually that despite the fact that we all hate advertising, some of the greatest, most talented people, smartest people, really super creative people actually work in advertising. Now, a few years ago, I started to notice something. Maybe it's just me, I don't think it's just me, but I started to notice a kind of change. And that change is that all of a sudden advertising agencies started to suck. I mean, you know, somehow that veneer, that polish, kind of started getting a little bit rusty on the outside. One thing about us as an agency is that we don't actually do a lot of we do some of this traditional advertising, but the thing that we do a lot of and what we're best, most well known for is public awareness. And public awareness gives you the opportunity to be a little bit more innovative, I think. And I'm just going to show you two things because it has a lot to do with the Scrapped project that we're working on. This is one project that we did, the Ampolinis. Ampel in English means, Ampel in German means traffic light. And the Eenie part is because these guys are Italian circus performers. So they're Italian circus acrobats that decided that they instead want to now work in a traffic light, and that's why they're green, yellow, and red. And they tell kids how to, you know, be safer. So it's a website about child safety. It's for young children between the ages of 4 and 7, children who mostly can't read. Basically, and we all know, children between 4 and 7, it's not really high on child safety is not really high on their agenda, right? What happens, children do whatever they want, and when they get into trouble, they scream really loud and their mother comes. That's their concept of child safety. So we try to teach children a little bit about that by this website's just a place where the kids have fun, they can play games, there's really funny characters, and they learn about that, and it's been very successful. Another thing we did, Mein Silvesterwunsch, that's, Silvesterwunsch means in English, New Year's wish. Now, I guess probably everybody here knows what New Year's is like in Berlin, right? For people who don't know that, I don't know, my theory is that, you know, Germany had that dark period in the 1940s or something like that, and since then Germany has been like this pacifist country. But still, you know, we all come from we have our caveman instincts, and, you know, they have to come out somehow. And so in Berlin, it comes out on New Year's Eve, and people go crazy, throw fireworks, shoot rockets, and it's like a war zone here. And every year, there's like literally 500 people end up in the hospital from fireworks, which is like, if you think about that, that's amazing, how many people that is. So the Berlin Fire Department asked us to do a campaign about that. This is like impossible, right? The best way to get a teenager to do something is to tell them not to do it, right? So how do you do a campaign about that? We basically just made a concept, New Year's wish. Make a wish for New Year's. Be positive, not even negative, just positive. Make a wish for New Year's. You know, what you want to have for next year, what you hope for. And it's kind of like a game. You can do all kinds of things to try to get people to vote for your wish. And the person who gets the most votes, we try to make their wish come true. That was the concept. It was really good. It was really successful. And the idea of fireworks safety was really kind of like on the side. You know, it was part of it, was integrated, so people kind of, without even realizing, became fireworks safety experts at the end of the 60-day period that the game happened, and that was kind of the concept of it. The problem is that it's very hard to kind of get clients, at least for us, we found it hard to get clients on board with these ideas. But we were doing some cool things like this, so then we just came up with a really cool idea one day. Wouldn't it be cool to make our own products? And then we could actually do whatever we wanted. Sounds simple, but I don't know, somehow it takes a while sometimes to come up with these kind of ideas. So that's what we started doing. We said, okay, let's come up with our own products. So in this case, now in terms of scrap, I have to say, we're working in several startups, several of these. It's like that we have our client-based agency that's client-based, and in the client-based we have these little islands of startup things that are actually separate enterprises. And we have a couple of them. The scrap one, actually, the original idea came from a girl, Riva Tez, she's in England. She's actually running the marathon, I think. When is the marathon? Tomorrow? Or I think it's Sunday. Anyway, she's running the marathon, so she's in England right now. And this was an idea that we had about, to make a children's website. So before we talk about the children, I think we have to talk about the parents. So this is parent type A. This is Carrie from Brian De Palma. That was this movie where this is her mother. Her mother's really evil, and she doesn't let her do anything, and she doesn't let her have any friends, and she makes her dress really weird, and it's like the house is full of like candles. And then the kids make fun of her at school, so Carrie, using her telekinetic power, locks all the children into the gym and kills them all. And then this is her mother trying to kill her. So that's Carrie. So this is the kind of parent that's very controlling. We know them in America. They're like homeschooling, no vaccinations, no TV, no computer, and basically no friends, right? This is parent type A. And in terms of online gaming, if they're allowed to, for the 10 of them who actually have electricity in America, they might have a computer, and the kids' access to the computer is going to be very limited. It's probably going to be some kind of religious website that's against, it tells you that the world is 6,000 years old or something like that. So that's parent type A. Then we have parent type, on the other extreme, parent type B. This parent, I think this is the parent that goes along the philosophy, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? They let their kid do whatever they want, and to the extent that they have the money for it, the kids have the newest iPads and iPods and laptops and, can basically do whatever they want all day long online as much as they want. So then there's a third kind of parent. Now, does anybody know what movie this poster is from? Somebody must know this. Yes, Vertigo! Okay, Jürgen, you win a prize.
It's for my daughter.
Yes, for your daughter, great. Okay. So that's from Vertigo. Now, parent type C, this is the kind of parent, this is the neurotic parent, right? I mean, this is the kind of parent, they're always thinking, yeah, well, you want your kids to have fun, you want them to enjoy all the modern, cool things of life, but like, you still, you want them to make their own choices, but you want them to make the right choice, and, are they watching too much TV? Are they, are they like, should they just watch TV on the weekends? Should they watch the day? Should it be a half hour? Should it be 45 minutes? Should you let them use the computer? Should they use YouTube? Should they have their own Facebook account, or they should have mine? You're basically living in a world of complete self-loathing and self-doubt all the time. You're always not really sure, you're always thinking you're doing the wrong thing. Whatever you do, it's the wrong thing for your kid. This is most of the parents are like this, right? Now, the interesting thing is that this is like the strongest, like Kaufkräftige, how do you say that in English? So the strongest, economically strongest force of parents, probably. Now let's look at some websites. We kind of looked at websites, and basically there's two kinds of websites for kids. There's the very educational kind of website. This is typically made by some Dr. So-and-so, and their idea is like educator, and they want to like take the stuff that the kids are learning in classroom, that the kids hate and are bored with, and how can we make that more engaging? How can we get the kids to actively engage with that material? And something typically like math. Kids hate, a lot of kids don't like math, so how can we do that? So they come up with some idea, maybe they hire an advertising agency like us to come up with a cool slogan. Math is cool, right? That's great, right? No problem. Now, okay, probably even the educators realize that's probably not going to be enough, right? So let's give it a nice background. Or, you know, maybe we'll like, you know, okay, make the type look cool. You know, you got to have something like a hippopotamus in it, right? And, you know, the hippopotamus, you call it Lily. Now it's a great website. Now all the kids are going to want to go there and do math exercises, right? Of course. The problem with this kind of website is that the kids who really need, you know, like to practice their math, who don't like math, like my son, for example, you know, I can be sitting at the computer and I'll be like, hey, Sammy, you know, I got this really, you know, hey, I found this really cool website. And he'll be like, he's like way ahead of that. He's like, you don't mean that website with Lily the hippopotamus. You know, he's already out the door, you know. So that doesn't really work. I mean, the only kind of kids who actually use these websites are the kids who don't need them, and the kids who actually go play, you know, go outside, do something. Don't sit around all day reading that physics book all weekend, you know. So that's just the one kind of website. Now, on the other extreme, we have these people who are geniuses at knowing how to make addictive websites. And, you know, like World of Warcraft, but there's lots of, you know, Movie Star Planet, I think you mentioned. That people are really good at that. So there, you know, you start out with an edgy background, have some cool characters, and call it something like Superstar Zombie Ninja Club. And then, you know, the kids will love this game, and they'll play it as much as you let them until they atrophy and starve to death. So the thing about them is that these kind of people, I mean, there are some, like Stardoll, that don't even try to be educational, I think. But like Movie Star Planet, for example, some of them, they pretend to be educational, right? They try to make themselves educational. Why do they do that? Anybody have any idea why would they want to even try to be educational? Well, obviously it's because of those parent type C, right? Obviously, because, and why? Because the parents have the credit cards, right? That's why, the parents have the credit cards. And if you want the parents to whip out their credit cards, you have to convince these parent type Cs that there's some educational value so the parents can feel good about it and don't have to hate themselves for giving the kids the credit card to play this game. But there is a third way, and you know, I think the one person that really influenced me is Jane McGonigal. She wrote a book called Reality is Broken, and she has a TED Talk. You can look at it. I think it's amazing. And I actually stole this slide from her. This is an amazing slide. She uses it in her TED Talk. This is by the great photographer Philip Toledano. He's a really great photographer if you haven't heard of him. And this is a kid on the verge of an epic win. Now look at this face, right? This is how you cannot fight this passion, right? This is passion. This is real, genuine passion. So Jane McGonigal's philosophy is, if we want to save the world, we can't stop people. We can't tell kids not to play games. We have to have them play even more games. They're not even playing enough games. But we have to create games that are meaningful and even games that will make a positive impact on the world, games that will literally save the world. And she creates games like, you know, World Without Oil and things like that, really amazing games that make an impact, that change the way people behave and think. So this had a big impact on me. So let's recap. We have, for kids, we have the educational games, which put a sticker on. They put the It's Fun sticker on it. And then we have the addictive fun games that put the It's Educational stickers on it. And we were trying to think, okay, how could we find this third way, you know? And so we figured out, okay, we'll take away everything else and we'll just have the stickers. Now, I know you guys are thinking it's fun and it's educational. No, we're talking literally the stickers. So this is what Scrap is about. Scrap is about stickers. And stickers are amazing. And Scrap is all about stickers, fun stickers, cute stickers, fashion stickers, stickers about science, celebrity stickers, stickers about history, funky stickers, yeah baby, gory stickers, sports stickers, and wacky stickers. And the thing about stickers is that every sticker tells a story. Can you guys read this? Is that readable? So this is, you know, this is great because the Deinonychus, he looks, I don't know if everyone's seen Jurassic Park. That movie everybody knows, right? Jurassic Park, okay. So this is, in Jurassic Park they call this the Velociraptor. The reality is that in reality, Velociraptor is about this big. It's this little cute thing, right? And this really ferocious thing called the Deinonychus, which takes down T-Rexes, is called the Deinonychus, so that's not a really cool name, so the Hollywood people said, well, we'll call it the Velociraptor, nobody will notice, right? So I learned this from this sticker, right? I learned that this guy is called a Deinonychus and not a Velociraptor. I also learned that this thing, this dinosaur, it has apparently very bird-like anatomy, and this was the first dinosaur that gave the scientists the idea that birds are descended from dinosaurs, which is cool. And supposedly this dinosaur, in reality, they believe now, is covered in feathers. Now look how much information I just learned from this dinosaur sticker. On the other hand, we have these kind of stickers. Dilly the Dino, not as scary as your usual T-Rex. This dinosaur lives off cupcakes and enjoys reading Enid Blyton novels in his spare time. But don't annoy him or he may start singing Christmas carols right up until the middle of July. So we have a content for everyone, so to speak, right? Now the other thing is that you can also tell your own story with stickers. So we have, in our platform, you can take different stickers. This one in the back, that's our back. We have background stickers, so you can take a background and some other kind of foregrounds, regular stickers, and you can make a page with it. And you can put some text on it. Eyes on the, you see the eye on the fry, eyes on the fries, right? And then you can take a bunch of pages. You can make a book. So here's a little book. This is a little book that a kid made about fries and eyes, basically. And it's a cute little story. And kids make all kinds of stories like this. Or sometimes kids just go wild. They just put as many stickers as they possibly can on the page and try to break our server. Or even wilder. I love this one. This is so great. Now this girl, these are all like, you can tell them from New York, pocketbook. Handbags, right? These are all handbags, and the girl just like kind of put them together and made these like jewelry and shapes and things, and it's like so wild, So it's really cool how, so one thing about Scrap is that it has this whole creative element to it. Besides, so it's fun, it's educational, and it's also this creative aspect of it, which is really cool. Plus, you can trade stickers, so this person wants to trade this one for this one, although actually I kind of like that one better, I think. And you can buy more stickers. Isn't this owl cute? This is called, the name of the owl is Little Owl. It's like the species of the owl, even though it is a little owl. And you can do all kinds of other stuff. Now, it's behind a curtain, right? Because I'm sorry, but I mean, it's not yet public, and so in 60 days we'll open the curtain and then you can see all the other cool stuff we can do on Scrap. But it's basically the idea of, making these kind of, we have tested it. We've had several iterations so far of this. I'll get into that later, actually. But we've made a lot of changes on the website, and that's one thing. We started, I think, last summer. Well, actually more like last fall, really working on it. And we've changed it so many different times, and actually, as Jürgen mentioned, as of about a week ago, we changed the name. Now it's called Stickstar. This is actually Tim's, your logo. So we're working on the logo still. Okay. And so one of the things is why do we keep having to make these changes? It's like there's so many changes, we constantly are rethinking about this, and there's a really simple reason for that, because we don't know what we're doing. Now, that's despite the fact that actually we have made a lot of, we have we have a lot of experience making children's websites, and we actually have some success. We do know what we're doing in that sense, but in this situation, we really don't know what we're doing. And this is what I want to talk about right now. And this is kind of like this is something that, this waterfall method, this is something usually talked about in software development. It's where it's a linear approach, right? You solve the problem, you design it, and you make it. So in an advertising agency, let's say we're making an advertisement about, let's say we have a campaign about shampoo. So we sit together and we brainstorm, and then someone comes up with the idea, yeah, you have a girl jumps into a spring lake, and then she gets up, and then she puts a gray towel around herself and dries herself off, and the towel falls and transforms into a hippopotamus, and she climbs on the hippopotamus and rides away, and that's this great, perfect advertisement. And then we spend time post-rationalizing it, why that's the perfect advertisement to sell the shampoo. And then we go, we design it, and should it be an African hippopotamus or an Asian hippopotamus, or different kinds of things, and we make it. What happens when you have a situation where there's a lot of uncertainty? You really don't know what you're doing. No matter how much experience, you have some experience, and you can leverage your experience, but really you can only leverage your experience to ask the right questions. And this is this kind of iterative method, right? So you make a guess, and you use your knowledge, your wisdom to make a guess, you design an experiment, and you test it. And that's a little bit of a different approach, and that's what we're doing with Scrap. Now, why is that better? Okay, first of all, this method, this waterfall method, is actually the most efficient method if you know exactly what you're doing. You can't beat that. That's totally efficient. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can do this kind of method, and the reason it's efficient is because you can develop experiments in very short periods of time with less resources, and in the same period of time and resources you'd be using for this, you can do this several times. So in the same, so instead of doing it like here, if you just did this one time, let's say it takes 6 months, you might make a really great product. You will make a great product if you know what you're doing, but it might be the wrong product. You've made a product, it's great, it looks really shiny, it's great, but actually no one wants to use it. So here, you've done this thing all the way up here. You've tested it. You made it kind of a very rudimentary thing. You've tested it, and you've learned from that, and then you make a second guess based on what you've learned. And this is the iterative method. For the advertising world, I kind of wanted to look at it a little bit differently. I kind of like to look at it like this. In the waterfall method, we're going with gravity. That's what we're used to doing. We're following the flow of gravity, right? We go from top to bottom. By the iterative method, it's like we're actually going against the grain. We're actually, essentially, we're scientists, and we're trying to make flying machines. We're trying to go against gravity. So we make a guess, we design an experiment, we test it. Each time we make a flying machine, we push it off the cliff, and maybe it goes a little bit, and then it crashes. And each time, our flying machine gets better, and at some point, it actually flies. And so this is the kind of model I kind of try to use for what we're doing in terms of putting this software development technique in terms of advertising. So in conclusion, be passionate. Use your knowledge. This is a great book, by the way, anybody who hasn't had it. Save the world. Thanks for listening. You can go to work now.